You're listening to No Plot, Only Lore, a podcast about games and the tables we play them at. Your DMs tonight and every night are Josh and Chris. You can find us on all podcast platforms or check us out at noplotonlylore.com. If you like what you hear today, please rate and review the show and share it with everyone you've ever met.
Welcome back to No Plot, Only Lore, this week brought to you by Darkest Dungeon, the board game.
Rest in
Most
peace.
dungeon crawlers make you feel like an invincible hero. This game, it wants to break you. It's a 1-to-4 cooperative campaign that perfectly captures oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so if you got lucky and you were in the first wave, congratulations. Otherwise, print and play time.
Yep.
Yeah, so irony of ironies, we were briefly talking about disastrous Kickstarters the other day, and then 2 days ago, the people at Mythic were just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Costs went crazy, and we can't do wave 2, and oopsie, thanks for the money, bye. And then they contacted the people who make Darkest Dungeon and were like, do we have your permission to just like send all of these files out for the game just to every backer to just say like good luck? And they're like, well, yeah, thanks for just like totally smearing our name, but okay. So yeah, they had to
Can we talk about the irony, like the pure irony of the tagline being overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer?
Yeah, it's so funny that they were like, yeah, we can do this for sure. And then they got one round of it done and we're like, never mind. We don't know.
I love it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so was it Red Hook or something like that behind Darkest Dungeon? Was like, well, we don't know how to make a board game, and if they can't do it, we can't do it. So, I don't know, have these files for the game, and good luck, I guess. Like, see you later. So, I don't know, I'm going to... Yeah. And, like, they sent all the files out from, like, literally like Darkest Dungeon game files at gmail.com. Like it was just like the sketchiest thing. So yeah.
Do you have the game files now?
I didn't back it, thank God, but I'm gonna find them. I guarantee they're somewhere on the internet right now. But yeah, it was $5 million down the drain.
Holy shit.
Yep. This was a big one. And that company has Kickstarters that are going for a couple of other popular IPs right now that people are like, so are none of these getting done? What happened?
How could you possibly trust backing a project by a company that flopped that hard?
You can't. It's like, if Tasty Minstrel ever gets themselves out of receivership, would I ever trust one of their Kickstarters again? Not on your life. But I guarantee you if they do, they're going to try.
Well, I mean, yeah, they have to.
Because where else do you get funding from, right?
GoFundMe.
Well, no, and I think that's kind of what leads into part 2 of this discussion we're having, is that, like, the way people expect to fund things has changed radically over the last 5 to 10 years. Board games used to be a passion project that you sunk your retirement savings into to produce one time, and then it kicked off, and you're like, oh my God, it worked, I was right, and then you roll from there, and you just kind of snowball. Now, you got to come in with your best idea first, and then you're going to get a whole bunch of money to make it happen, even though you've never done it before, and you don't know how to make it happen. And then you're going to have situations like this again, where it's like, okay, you hit it out of the park, and then you're like, what park? And then now you have a bunch of money that just disappears from underneath you, and at the end of the day, nobody's happy.
Well, yeah, because it's such a... Like, I have it written down here.
Yeah.
It is a double-edged sword.
100%.
Right? Like, success creates obligations that companies are in no way ready for. Like, not just in the product itself, right? Like, if you have a particularly successful Kickstarter, now you're looking at, like, every single stretch goal. And if you already weren't capable of making the game, how are you going to handle all of the stretch goals too?
Yeah. I mean, I've mentioned Tasty Minstrel a couple of times, but the reality is that the success of their early Kickstarters started them on a downward spiral because, like, Yokohama did incredibly well. Crusaders did really well. And then, it came to like Belfort for this anniversary edition. And they like, this is a game that was already made, right? Like, they didn't have to do any work on it. They were just like, hey, we're going to do this 10th anniversary edition and some upgraded components. And I was one of the backers on it. Luckily, I managed to get my money out because I actually backed through a retail location, which was like a whole other weird thing. But what wound up happening is, and I believe it started as far back as Yokohama, but like you said, there were stretch goals and there were like improved pieces and upgrades. And then they just didn't do the math correctly on those things. Instead of doing what had already, so funnily enough, Darkest Dungeon actually went back and asked for more money from people to get this made. They didn't do that at TMG, and what their plan is, well, we know what it costs now. Let's slightly overprice the next Kickstarter so we can siphon some money from that back into fulfilling this. And then they got that wrong again, and so they had to use the next Kickstarter to fund what they needed to fulfill on, and it was perpetually chasing money from the next Kickstarter to pay for commitments they'd already made that they screwed up on. And it ultimately sunk the company.
The thing that it reminds me of the most is every brick and mortar store eventually hits a point where they're like, we should open a second location.
Yep.
And it's never prepared for properly.
Never.
Right? Like, even the company that I worked for previously, they have 3 locations, and that is a fluke beyond flukes.
Yes. And I think
it's just overextension.
I worked for a company, it was an internet cafe, and they were near the university, and they were like, I know, let's open up a second location on the north side for some reason. Yeah, and like it was just like,
okay.
Yeah, and it just sucked every dollar out of the main location to keep it alive and killed both of them. There's a tabletop related store in town that has tried twice now to open secondary locations. One in what they thought would be a good high traffic area. I could have told you it will not be, because revitalization is a scam. They tried, and like they straight up said, in order to make sure that it doesn't, because I will give him credit for this, when he did his expansions, he kept them completely separate as their own business entity and said it had to survive on its own. And yeah, he was like, yep, it's not making money. It's not even breaking even. I have to shut it down. And then he tried a smaller version of it in a dying mall, and that had to shut down too. Like, it's just, expansion is so tough to do, and it feels like some of these production companies, these publishers, are starting in the expansion phase. They haven't gotten their feet under them yet.
Well, and it's the big thing, I think, is that like Kickstarter is going to represent, like, a successful Kickstarter, a particularly successful Kickstarter is going to represent a fundamental shift in your business.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're taking the core business. Like, let's assume that you're not a business that's 100% Kickstarter, which is kind of a big assumption, to be honest. Right?
These days, it's insane.
Yeah, if you're not coming out the gate Kickstarter, then you already have an established business. You already have products that you're putting out there. And now you have this Kickstarter. You make $6 million on this Kickstarter. Your entire business is now that thing.
Yeah.
That has got to like swim for everyone.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, then the rest of the company is going with it.
Yeah.
Right. And it has to be treated, I think, in a different way than people expect it to be. Like, I think that there is an expectation when you come to Kickstarter that you're just going to put up your product, people are going to buy it or not, and it's just going to be like an offshoot of the main business. But it often isn't.
Right.
That it has to be treated like an expansion. It has to be treated like an extension of the business in a bigger and more robust way, or it's going to fail.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring your company with it.
Well, and the people forget that your business can't be one project forever. There's the first project, but after that, you need to okay, so your first project went well. You need to keep that running on its own in some way. Otherwise, you're just jumping from project to project. And if, like you said, if you don't have that severability in your project and in its funding, it's just going to drag the rest of you down. I mean, it
almost requires a whole team.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of need to have your Kickstarter team, your crew
Sure.
of people who are going to be responsible for just the Kickstarter project.
Sure.
And then it's sink or swim on its own.
Yeah. I can totally agree with that. I guess the problem and the temptation that people run into is that they see other companies that do Kickstarters as part of their overall goal and are able to do it without completely divorcing the company from what's going on. They're just like, oh, here's just this little alternative income stream. And what they're forgetting is that the foundation of that company is already so rock solid, and the use of Kickstarter for them is frankly so negligible that it won't completely bring the house down if that goes under. You see it now. I mean, Wormwood is pivoting away from Kickstarter as much as they can. They're like, you know what, we've had a good run with it, but let's get people into our online store. Let's get recurring revenue and regular sales through our owned channel. They do conventions. Yeah, they're still not completely abandoning Kickstarter just yet. They're going to use it for special projects, but their main thing, it used to be, if you wanted to buy a Wormwood table, you would have to wait for the next campaign and then buy it in the campaign. And now it's like, well, we have stock, just buy it through our online store. And so they'll use the Kickstarter for weird things that they want to see, if like a desk or something, if there's a market for it.
Well, and even then, Wormwood is such a outlier in so many ways. The fact that they were able to leverage the infinite Kickstarter model for as long as they have without a major failure is huge, right? Because one big failure of a project can lead to the death of your company. Sure. Right, and so there's a huge amount of risk that they had utilizing that model. Do we have another section for that? We talked about it a bit last week.
Well, it's just I know we'll never get it. I would love to know more about the actual financials of those early years from Wormwood, because I know there was a big chunk of time. Doug has been very open with the fact that he has not made his money from Wormwood. His money has all come from Bitcoin. And so, no, he's serious. He's like, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin for no reason years ago, and it made me a millionaire. Oops.
That reminds me of your game designer friend who
made his
initial money on poker.
Yeah. He just had a nest egg,
Yeah, it's real easy to become a game designer when you've got your own money and you don't have to worry about where your rent's coming from.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, and his idea was at the time where he should have sunk a bunch of his own savings into getting it published, and maybe smart or not, but he was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go shop this around to Hasbro or whatever, which hey, knock yourself out. But yeah, Wormwood, I think, was able to stand on its own because there was so few people drawing on it at the start. The people who were making the project were like, I can focus all my time and attention on this, but I also don't need the Kickstarter to pay my rent. And so they could keep, like you said, that money stayed severable and got reinvested back into the company over and over, whether it was infrastructure or hiring people that needed to do specific roles. So yeah, I think that's what kept them able to keep it rolling, is because at the end of the day, they didn't need to use all of the money that the Kickstarter brought in to fulfill the Kickstarter. It could be spent on, here's this extra chunk of money. We made the thing, we know what our profit margin is. Now we can take that extra chunk of money and get even better prepared for the next Kickstarter, right?
Are they looking at like retail options?
Yes.
Like obviously they do conventions, obviously they do like their own website, but like is your store going to be able to buy a table and sell it?
So there's short answer, yes. This is something that they have been exploring, and I think they were hiring one person specifically to deal with whether they wanted to do like one showroom on their own in Pennsylvania right now, and then what could they do for retail partnerships with other existing hobby stores and stuff like that. I don't know how far along the process that is, but it's something they've been actively exploring for a couple of years. And now that they've seen another competitor open a retail space, I think it's one of those things that's actually kind of good for them, where they don't have to take the risk. They can see what happens there. This is a competitor that is doing their own product, plus they're also carrying another more bespoke woodworkers products. I'm deliberately not using names just because I don't want to like blow up their spot or whatever. But like there's a guy out of Maine who he's gone pretty viral with some really cool table designs, but they are super intricate and like low volume. And then he's got other like and the thing is, this guy has also partnered with Wormwood in the past, so his stuff is like really good for like cool one-off stuff, but like I think it's hard to produce at scale. It's just so labor intensive.
At any time.
Not even close. The number of magnets and stuff he uses, it just takes a lot of time to assemble these things. So, but I think they're taking the opportunity to say, hey, let's see how this goes for them. Like, let's see if there's the return that they were hoping for there, because I'm sure they'd love to expand their business even more, but they're doing just fine without it. So if they don't have to take that risk and get to, do a viability study through someone else.
One of the things that I always liked to do at the store was whenever I went to a convention, I would find somebody who didn't have like retail distribution going on, and I would reach out to them specifically to start selling their stuff in the store. Yeah. And so like that's how I got like a bunch of weird shit, like the Cthulhu plushies that came in that were like only available through our store in, as far as I could tell, all of Alberta. Yeah. Like this person didn't even have an online store. I got their card and I called their phone number. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think like that's maybe one of the big impacts that we're seeing from Kickstarter that is like distinctly negative, which is that it is cutting out brick and mortar stores almost entirely, because retail is entirely optional if you're selling direct to your client, with again like the caveat that Kickstarter is not supposed to be a sales platform. Not supposed to, and what it is are two completely different things at this point. This is a conversation I've had a few times. I've sort of railed against. What has been happening is that like, and this is not just like because of like, there's a lot of accusations that got leveled at companies of like greedy capitalism and whatever, where they're just like trying to maximize their profits. What it is, and I see this happen time and again, is like people who are sort of perpetually online have this problem with remembering how the rest of the world functions and why their hobbies and interests were able to like take root and grow in the first place. And for the vast majority of these things, it comes down to community. And as much as people like to pretend that Discord and chat rooms are a real community, they are a supplementary tool for genuine human connection. And what surrogacy.
Yeah, what perpetuates and builds these communities that wind up spending money and getting into these hobbies is actual human contact. If I was just playing board games on Board Game Arena, I wouldn't own 600 of them. The reason I do is because I have a regular weekly group and I get together with those guys and play them all the time. And that's not something that's like restricted to board games. Like I like Warhammer. I was out of it for a long time because I didn't have anyone I was playing with. And Tabletop Simulator is no substitute for rolling real dice with people. D&D would not be around if it was just Roll20.
Even just like the discoverability.
Yes, I was going to get to that. Yeah,
from, like walking into a store and talking to the people there. Like,
yeah,
I think that was one of the things that I really brought to Warp that we hadn't really seen in that space before. Is that like people would ask me about games and I would give them games that didn't suck.
Yeah,
and I had like a repertoire and like ideas of what types of games would appeal to which types of people based on my personal experience. And that's not something that you're able to get from an online seller. Like if I look at the front page of DriveThruRPG, I'm just going to see the stuff that's most recent and the stuff that's most popular.
Yeah.
Right? Like that isn't going to tell me anything about games that are going to appeal to me. I can type in a bunch of keywords and maybe get some things that are aligned with my interests.
Sure.
But no guarantee that one, that game is actually any good, or two, that game is actually aligned with the way that I want to play, because I haven't had an opportunity to talk to the person who's selling it.
Yeah.
Or anybody who's played it.
Like, I think that's the big difference between, like, I can stock a game or I can sell a game. You know? Like, people are... I want to say people are generally, like, immune to advertisement these days. Like, when I look at...
Vehemently averse.
Yeah. When I look at, like...
if you advertise at me, I am going to be mad at you.
Yeah. So, like, I'll get a solicitation from a distributor who's like, hey, here's the new board games I got this month, and you should try this. And like, he tells me what he thinks he wants me to buy. And I know the only reason he wants me to buy those is because he's got the biggest margin on those. And then I look at them, and I have developed the ability through like experience to see through the marketing layer of these games and say, oh, that might actually have something, that has nothing, that has nothing, that's fluff, that's fluff. And that has to happen again for people coming into the building, right? Like they wander in, they see a wall full of options, and they need to know what's actually worth their attention. Now, I think we're pretty good at and continually improving at not stocking trash, but every once in a while something slips through. You know, it just happens. When you have like 3 or 4 different people who are putting orders through for different things, we have one guy in particular who is susceptible to being tricked by certain things. But like, you know what? You take some shots and you see what happens. I mean, we took a risk on Loot and Bomb Busters because they were nominated for Spiel des Jahres awards, and Bomb Busters has sold really well for us. And Loot is like, we have crammed it into every hole we can on the shelf just to get maximum exposure, try and get this off of our fucking hands. Like, it's not gone as well. But like,
that's funny. It's like, I think that like even trash games have a market.
Sure.
Right? Like the amount of Munchkin that I have sold is far more Munchkin than I ever should have sold.
Right.
And I think that's true for anybody who has ever sold Munchkin.
Yeah, I own Munchkin, and I'm like, this is garbage, but like it
is a trash game.
But it has its place in certain things, right? Like sometimes you really do just need a beer and pretzels game that, you know, is more about annoying your friends than actually playing the game.
Somebody is going to come into the store and be like, oh my God, you guys have Loot? It's my favorite. And you're going to be like, cool, well, we shouldn't talk.
I can guarantee you right now that's not going to happen. Because it's not light enough to be like a haha, I have fond memories of playing this with friends at a party, and it's also not deep enough to be like, oh yeah, I love the real intricate. It's just like it is a nothing burger with extra cheese. But no, like getting back to the main point here is that like brick and mortar in this industry in particular, I think more than any other, is so essential because there's so much noise coming at the consumer these days. And because like nerd culture and hobbies have come to the forefront a lot more now, there's just like a lot of bullshit out there, and people need filters, and brick and mortar are the filter for a lot of people. And I get why the Kickstarter model has been appealing to people who want to like sidestep the filter or feel that they like don't get the traditional amplification because they're just like not part of the main stream, which like that's another like totally viable argument, is like, hey, my thing will never get published by the regular person. But like the days of that being the reality for Kickstarter are just so far gone. Like you're just part of the chaff now.
You can absolutely just self-publish, right? Like the self-publishing options have never been easier on basically every platform. Like board games, maybe a little less because you do have like higher startup costs and you do have to like stock stuff. But like you want to make a role-playing game, it's print on demand. You can put it up as a PDF for free on DriveThruRPG, and just sit back and wait for money to happen. Yeah, right? Like,
and you just spend all your time marketing it. You don't have to have any costs. You just, hey, I made the thing. Please go buy the thing. I mean, that being said, like that's the other function of the brick and mortar stores too. Like I've purchased a locally made game at Mission that was like produced by a guy who's like a professor at the University of Edmonton, and like I don't know if this man's ever heard of China, because like he, as far as I can tell, was like glue stick and scissors putting this thing together, right?
Oh, I thought that was going in a very different direction about like the theme of this game.
No. I'm just saying, like, it is very, very indie, but like, I gave it a shot. Cool. Like, good for him. He got someone to stock it. He could start there and build on that.
Well, I think like part of the misinformation chunk of it, right, and like the discoverability chunk of it, is that so much of the stuff that's happening, like even just on Kickstarter, right, like when you're talking about the noise, it's also like the social media noise that people are making about their games, right? Like they're making claims about their games, they're trying to sell them, they're trying to get you to buy them, and it's bullshit, right? Like the whole like funded in 10 minutes or like funded immediately thing, where you made your initial ask like $150 and then your like mom pledged.
Well, what's funny is like so much of that, like taking a statistics course in like the first year of college made you realize that like numbers don't mean anything because people can just manipulate them however they want. So like seeing a phrase like funded in 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, so what lever did they pull to get the number down low enough that one backer pushed them over, right? Like stuff like that.
How much money did they give somebody to pledge?
Well, yeah.
Like, did they just give all of their friends like $500 to pledge, and then just like sit back and be like, I'll fund it in 10 minutes. Now it's all stretch goals.
I wouldn't even be surprised if some guy was just like, okay, well, I made my Kickstarter and now I spent $1,000 of my own money backing it 5 times, and then now it's funded. Hooray!
Yay me!
Yeah, I'm so good at games.
Like, that and like the algorithm boost that we see from like the things that are funded really quickly. Small projects that are done fast get on front pages more often, so you're going to see like worse projects with less investment in them on the front page more often than you're going to see quality products that take a while and actually have like some love and thought put on them. This is a problem that we have on DriveThruRPG too, right? Like having been a person who has put schlock on DriveThruRPG, like handwritten, hand-drawn bullshit RPGs. They got views. People downloaded that shit. I've made some money.
Yeah.
It's if I were if I were the type of person who was willing to publish AI stuff and pretend that it wasn't AI stuff, I would be on the front page of DriveThruRPG literally every fucking day.
Oh, so easy. And like,
right?
Then you dovetail that with like, so that thing that I backed, I just started getting ads again on Facebook where they're like, hey, late pledge is now open. Like what is the name of the pledge manager? They're like, okay, well, we opened up Pledge Manager, so now you can be a late backer because you know this thing is definitely going to happen. So like they go for their like second round of funding. I've still got like 3 more payments on this thing, and it's not delivering till October. And they're like, let's go get more money right now. Like, on the one hand, I'm like, cool. People that had the chance, like that missed out because there's so much coming through, have the chance to like hop on. People who were like skeptical are like, oh, well, okay, maybe I'll give this another shot. But part of me is also like, yeah, this is just them like just driving number up and using it as well to promote their next project or their other simultaneous projects. And it's frustrating because I'm like, well, are they taking time away from just getting this thing done and sending it to me? Because like for a while I was getting regular updates where it's like, okay, hey, we're going to reveal like this new thing. Oh, you know what? We're actually going to add this, like, it wasn't even like a stretch goal. It's like, hey, we're just like adding this other option that didn't exist before because like it turns out at some point they were like, hey, we had like a little bit of extra money. We're just like adding these 2 extra minis in for you. Like, here you go. Cool. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then now it's been a few months and I'm like, there's nothing else to add. Like they haven't given me an update. They said Merry Christmas to me and that was it. Like there's no project update.
Like, those 2 extra minis are just like Doug in character design managed to put a couple of things together in his spare time.
Oh yeah. They're absolutely nothing. So now I'm like, well, then what are you doing right now that's actually getting this product into my hands? Like, could you bump the timeline up a few months? Maybe. But they're not doing that.
Fill in those backer orders, fill in the stretch goals.
Yeah. So they're, so I look at that stickers. And I'm like, well, I know what I would do to make this Kickstarter not be ass. And it's number one is not make me wait a year to get the thing that I wanted. Right? Mm-hmm. Like 6 months, fine. 8 months, okay. A year? Why? Like, I know what production timelines are like. Like, okay, great example. Apparently, Bandai just lost a massive shipment of One Piece, like not just One Piece, but a bunch of different things on the way over from Japan on like a tanker that, or like a shipping container that got caught on fire. 80% of this shipment is toast, including like what appears to be at least half of the supply of dual packs for OP14, which is like just came out, new hotness. They want to get it in people's hands. It's toast. They're saying 3 months and they'll have it all reprinted. And that's high quality cardstock, like crazy good stuff. And that's them also having to like think about. So like they are very careful about like not overprinting certain things. Like they do the God packs that you can open, and it's like, hey, we want to make sure that we're actually printing the right numbers. It's not like they're just like, oh, make machine go burr. Like they put a lot of thought into it. It's still only taking them a couple months to do it. So to tell me it takes like a year to get China to make you some plastic minis, like, come on. So like,
I mean, you got Bandai money, right?
Yeah.
Like, and Bandai influence and Bandai like connections.
Yeah.
And like you already have a relationship with your printer. And
sure.
All of that.
But like,
okay, let's segue off of this. How do we make Kickstarter not suck?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like the solution to Kickstarter problems can't just be throw more money at it. Like,
but it works for so many reasons.
But like Bandai is willing to risk screwing with releases for all of their other games and products right now, as well they should, to fix this shipping problem that's not theirs. And they can kind of do it by throwing money at the problem. But how does an independent publisher or a first-time game designer utilize Kickstarter in a way that doesn't mean that they're never going to see success again?
Yeah. I think part of it is only funding the stuff that you can't make otherwise, right? Like, have a thing.
Okay.
Have a thing that you already have, right? Like, if I were to kickstart a role-playing game,
sure,
I would have like a little folio that is the basic rules, and then the stuff that I would be funding would be expanding on that, right? So, like, have a thing, and then fund what you need to make it bigger and better. Is that...
Well, so you've spent the time to design this thing.
Sure.
And you've thrown it up online, and it's available on, like, print on demand.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we could do it that way. You could also just, like, make the thing and have it ready to go, and then use Kickstarter to make it better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you doing? Okay, so my thought was, okay, I've got this RPG. It's available out there for people to check out and test and print on their own. I want to give it a proper book treatment where I have art, I have actual print runs, and I can look at getting it into brick and mortar. I can't do that without some startup cost. But I already have the thing made. I need to pay for some artists, and I need to pay for some printing. Right?
Yep.
That seems like a reasonable extension of I already have proof of concept.
Well, and if you don't get those things, you can still publish.
Sure.
Right? Like, it's not going to be as good. Right? Like, you're going to have a book that has less art or no art.
Yeah.
But, like, there are games out there that don't have art. Or they have very little or minimal art, or just like icons for art is something that I've seen, right? So, like, it isn't unheard of to have a game that doesn't have those things attached to it, and the game still gets published and the game still gets picked up.
Sure.
Right? So design the game, and then use Kickstarter to make the game better, make it prettier, make it like more appealing, do all of the like sales stuff attached to that. Be like, hey, like Johnny Cock from Edmonton, who is a great artist, I want you to be my cover artist.
Yeah.
How many dollars is that going to take me?
Yeah.
Right? And then you make that a goal. Or a stretch goal.
Yeah. And then you that's fair. My thought was more along the lines of like, I think you need to start with the concept of a minimum viable product and stick to that as hard as you can. Make your Kickstarter about not delivering like your wildest dreams, but just delivering on the exact thing you said you were going to do. Be extremely conservative with your campaign. And by conservative, I mean like, one, you ask for more money than you actually need. Like, you look at these costs and you've done your work on like paring them down as much as you can. But like in this case, being conservative doesn't mean like you're just trying to shave off cost and get it as cheaply out to the consumer as you can. You take that number and then you double it, and then you ask for that. And then like I've seen campaigns out there that straight up said, I'm asking you for $100 for shipping, and if it's anything less, I'll send you the money back. But I'd rather not ask you for more money. Right? Yeah. So just and I think that's a conservative approach to take. And when I say conservative, I mean just being safe, being, extremely like risk averse, right?
And also politically conservative. Just be
that's
incredibly right-wing as much as possible.
What I'm saying is like, to be conservative in this sense means like being extremely cognizant of the like consequences of failure, and wanting to make sure that you are a good steward of not only the money that you receive, but the attention and the energy that you get from people for these projects.
Well, I feel like it's important too to like set those expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Like providing a timeline for when things are coming out. Like you said, right? Like, why is it taking me a year?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what milestones are we looking at between when this thing was funded and when I get the thing in my hands, what is happening in there that needs to get done? And like, what is the failure state? What is the thing that's going to stop this from getting into my hands? Like a Darkest Dungeons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, when do we start looking at like, sorry, the idea just didn't work?
Well, that's just it. Like when it comes to like a campaign like that, to see a first wave that's like, yeah, we made it. And it's like, well, now what? What happened? Like doing something for the second time is just like orders of magnitude easier than doing it the first time.
It should be.
Right? So that's what's so freaking confusing about what happened over there. Like some people have this game in their hands. How? You know? How come you can't do it again?
Just ballooning costs.
Yeah.
Suddenly tariffs or something.
That's literally my only explanation. Like, but I mean,
actually,
it's a real one. Like you can straight up just say, hey, this is the product we had. And then Trump put 140% tariffs on products from China. So now you can't have it.
Yep.
Like, just be honest. Like, yep, it exists. We made it. And then we're just going to warehouse it until either the tariffs disappear or we can pay the tariffs. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And be honest about it. Like, communicate. Like, you were saying we need to communicate better for these things. Just be like, look, I'll give you a price breakdown. It's $100 added just from the tariffs. Okay. Like,
and like, speaking of honesty, I do think that like we need to start labeling a pre-order as a pre-order.
Yeah.
Right? Like it can't be a standard Kickstarter campaign, right? Like there should be a division between you're pre-ordering the thing.
Yeah.
And this is the amount of money that it is going to cost. And I haven't made the thing. This is what I need to potentially make the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like one of these is gambling. One of these is a pre-order.
Yes. Well, and you know, like to that point, I just got an email. Hey, Tiny Epic Invincible is up on Kickstarter now. I'm like, that's a pre-order. That company knows how to make tiny epics. They've been making them for a decade. That is 100% winding up in my pocket if I want it. I don't, but it could. That's a pre-order, right? Like, whereas like, you know, Joe Schmo's new idea, that's a Kickstarter. And it might not get made because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Now, at the same time,
I ain't never made minis before, but I'm going to make a lot of minis.
At the same time, your campaign should really work hard to establish that you kind of do know what you're doing, but like, maybe you don't. Maybe you just don't.
Maybe you don't. And like, I don't know, maybe on like the backers side of things, like sometimes I think we need to back people.
Yeah.
More than we're backing a product.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if Joe Schmo potential mini creator has never made minis before.
Yeah.
But he has a cool idea and he's willing to work at it. Mm-hmm. And you think there's an okay chance that it's going to happen. Throw some money at him.
Sure.
Like, have the idea of Kickstarter is that you are kickstarting an idea towards reality.
Right.
Right. Like you're giving it a little bit of a boost towards becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes that means starting with people who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, it's gambling.
Well,
right?
You know what? Like you see it so much more outside of this particular like hobby space on those like weird Kickstarter campaigns where it was like, especially like technology related. Like as a terrible example, like Theranos tried to like IRL Kickstarter their whole deal.
I was absolutely about to do
right. They're like, we can do this thing. And they're like, are you sure? Like, absolutely. So then they kickstarted from like angel investors who were like, yeah, definitely. And people don't have access to those. That's what Kickstarter was for, is like essentially trying to like crowdsource angel investment. Right. So at the end of the day, a lot of people lost a lot of money and someone went to jail. That's probably not going to happen with your RPG. But you should be prepared for that
without actually piercing your skin.
But I'm just saying, you should be prepared to be Theranos on every Kickstarter.
Everything, every Kickstarter, every Kickstarter is that chick in a turtleneck.
Yeah,
artificially lowering her voice to sound more like Steve Jobs.
Well, and frankly, you should expect that every time you throw money at Kickstarter, it's like, I don't think you can actually do this, but I really hope you do. Right?
Yeah.
Like, just be skeptical and be pleasantly surprised every time something winds up in your lap.
And don't kickstart things with the belief or the understanding that you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it isn't... It's more of a gift.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's something that you're not expecting to get back.
Yeah.
You have put it out into the world. This is your intent that you are providing with your dollars to see this thing become reality. It might not.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the biblical idea of give expecting nothing in return is going to be the healthiest headspace to be in for these. So, like, as consumers...
That's exactly what happened to Theranos.
Yeah. Well, the reason she went to jail is because they expected something in return and then did not get it. But no, for real, I think the big takeaway for us on the consumer side, stop treating Kickstarters like guarantees and start remembering that they are gambling and they are taking a long shot on things. And for creators, stop abusing Kickstarter as this free money hack and stop assuming that you're going to stretch goal your way to success. Make sure that you can absolutely deliver the minimum thing and keep your frickin' promise on it.
Hey, thanks for making it all the way through this episode of No Plot Only Lore. If you're looking for more, you can always find us at noplotonlylore.com and on all the very best podcast platforms. If you like what you heard today, please share, rate, and review the show to feed my never-ending need for attention and validation.